Here now is Matt Austin and Ginger Gadsden with Florida's Fourth Estate. Sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Hey everybody, welcome to another road trip edition of Florida's Fourth Estate. They let us out of the studio again, and today we are in beautiful downtown historic Sanford.
That's right, and we're going to show you a cruise that you don't have to head to saltwater or the coast to enjoy. And we're going to have to introduce you to a nice, beautiful lady named Barbara Lee. So let's get inside.
Go inside.
So we have stepped inside this beautiful 1986 built ship, but it's been redone. It's gorgeous. We're in front of this big, beautiful paddle wheel.
Yeah.
Right now, we're going through Lake Monroe, headed to the St. Johns River.
And we are joined now by the owner of this beautiful ship, Michelle Wyatt. Michelle, this is insane. We thought outside was lovely, but just being inside, it's such a different vibe, right? I guess this is not your first rodeo, but your first act was something else. How does one end up owning something as lovely as this?
Sure. I have spent the past 25 years in Maryland. I started a software business focused on conferences and events back in 2000. And I sold it January 31st, 2020, right before the pandemic shut the world down. Stayed with that business for about 2.5 years and then made my way south to Florida. I live now in Oviedo, and I was looking around trying to figure out what would appeal to me for a second act. And my previous company worked a lot with conferences and events, so very familiar with the event space, love it. And this is what I consider the perfect balance of venue. And honestly, I have a certain skill set that I think the business needed, and that skill set is more technology, sales, and marketing. And the company's been around for 40 years, and I think it's still one of the best kept secrets in Sanford and in Florida. So my job is to raise the awareness of exactly what we do here.
Okay, so tell me what that decision is like when you wake up one morning and you say, "This is the day.
We're buying a boat.
It's gonna happen." What is that day like? What was that day like for you?
So I think it's more a process you go through. So there's at any point in time, there's like 12,000 businesses for sale in Florida at any given point. Obviously a lot which I would never touch just because of my skill set and what I'm capable of doing. For example, I know nothing about cars. I would never want to buy an automotive business because I can't bring anything to that. Same with construction. Can't do anything with construction except hold a hammer. But other than that, so there's definitely areas that were automatically eliminated. Then obviously is location. With my house being in Oviedo, it was easy commute to and from Sanford. The price range of the business, I was looking for a certain range as far as purchasing it. And then obviously what I enjoy the day-to-day, interacting with people, celebrating their milestones, their anniversaries. We've had a number of people married on the boat that come back year after year to celebrate their anniversary. People have gotten engaged. My favorite story, shortly before I joined, we had 3 centurions on the same cruise celebrating their birthday. Well, it was 100, 102, and 105. But, the point being, it's a place that people enjoy coming and celebrating. And because of the historical nature of it, that really appeals to me as well. I feel like it's a tradition that we're continuing. Steamboats, river ships have been in Sanford for over 100 years now. And the fact that we're the last one really speaks to me as well. So I feel like I'm also preserving a little bit of history as well as entwining that into other people's lives.
I love the feel of this.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, the words we're going for is historical elegance.
Oh.
And, that old Florida feel, which is encompassed by the paddle wheels and then obviously the decorations throughout it and the lighting. I've been very fortunate. My father has been commuting back and forth between Virginia and here for the past 4 months, helping me with this endeavor. And he does have that construction background. So I'll just say, "Oh, that would be pretty blue." And he's like, "Okay." He goes and picks out the blue and paints it for me. But the point being, the boat came to Sanford in 2012. It went through a remodel then. So it's been about 12 years since the last remodel. And it needed a little bit of a refresh is what I refer to it as. So we've been working really hard over the past couple of months, updating the interior quite a bit. And just, again, making sure that it can shine and be that place people want to come back to and celebrate their major life milestones.
While enjoying historical elegance.
Right. What a fascinating next step for you. Love the inside, but really the crown jewel out here is the view outside. Would you mind taking us for a little look-see?
Of course.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now we're back outside on beautiful Lake Monroe, where we are talking about just how you can take a cruise in Central Florida without being on a ginormous cruise ship. But this thing...
We're not even in the ocean.
No, we're on Lake Monroe. This is crazy to me that we are out here. And we've been having a great conversation inside with the owner of this big, beautiful ship. We're talking to Michelle Wyatt. Thank you so much again for showing us all of this. Now I want to know some stats on this girl. She's a beauty.
Yes, she is. She is a big beauty, though. She weighs 98 tons.
Ooh, we don't usually talk about a lady's weight.
We already talked about how old she is.
But all right, yeah.
We can seat 190. So there's essentially 5 tiers to our boat. We have what we call the first level or the ground floor, which seats about 90. Then we have the mezzanine, which is right by the paddle wheels. That seats about 40. And then we had a second floor that seats about 60. So altogether, we can seat about 190. Our occupancy level is around 300. So standing room, obviously, we can fit more. But then we also have this beautiful outdoor deck on top where people can come up and watch the wildlife and enjoy being on the water. And then we also have our wheelhouse where the captain sits. And unlike normal cruise ships, we actually encourage people to come in, maybe take the boat, not when we're parking or when we're taking off, but yeah, when we're out on the water, the captain loves having people come visit him.
What, we can take the wheel?
Yes.
All right.
He'll actually
6
let you
miles
drive.
an hour. I don't think you can mess that up. I'm curious, you mentioned the wildlife. So it is gorgeous out here, just the scenery. But I know there are some creatures that you can see, maybe you would expect, like gators, but also some that you might not expect, like sharks in fresh water.
Yes, we actually have bull sharks in this river. They suspect that they come in to essentially give birth, and then they head back out to the oceans. But yes, there are bull sharks in this water, especially if they have young. We haven't found any mermaids, but we have seen some manatees, especially this time of year when they're escaping to warmer waters. But osprey and all sorts of bird life are really prevalent around here, and definitely can be seen on a lot of the cruises. So depending on what your taste is as far as outside activities, if you're a nature lover, this is the perfect opportunity as well.
Oh yeah, I feel like anyone who would be out here on Lake Monroe here in Central Florida loves nature, and that, like right now, I'm just trying to soak it all in and still figure out, you know, how I can have my second act maybe on the same cruise. But tell us a little bit about when you come out to enjoy the experience, right? How long should we plan for? Because you want to really soak it all in and not rush it.
Right. So we have 2, 3, and 4 hour cruises depending on the day of the week and what time you sail with us. We offer lunch cruises on Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we have what I would call a party cruise on Friday night. That's our shortest cruise. We do 2 hours.
Bring your party pants for that one.
Yes.
Ginger.
But we always have different live entertainment on all cruises. But Friday nights we rotate and have all sorts of fun things, everything from music bingo to different bands and other entertainment available. And then on Saturday night, we also do a dinner dance cruise, which is perfectly timed at this time of the year for the sunsets.
Dinner dance, so you need your dance pants.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, I saw.
Party pants and dance pants.
Bring a few pants just to be ready here. I saw a dance floor down there. I saw options for karaoke.
Oh,
if
boy.
somebody's gonna go, yeah, don't worry. We're not gonna be involved in any karaoke situations. But if somebody wants to say take their family, have a little lunch out on the lake, what is the cost structure for that?
Sure. So children are less expensive than adults, and depending again if it's a 2, 3, or 4 hour cruise, the lunch and the dinner cruises range between $75 and $85. Children are less expensive than that depending on their age range, and then our Friday nights are $25. So if you're looking for an affordable entertainment option, Friday nights is definitely the best time to give us a try.
Wow. And so that's actually pretty reasonable, especially for the town of Disney World in which we exist in. And you had to buy this boat. Can you tell us about what it costs to get this, and then to maintain it has to be a lot. So I would imagine
you go around kicking the tires, the paddle wheel. What do you do?
So shortly before I bought it in September of 2023. So I've had it just a short period of time. I had a valuation done and it was worth about 1.4 million at that point in time. Just like a car, this is a used boat. So if I were to try to buy it brand new, if I were to have it made, it would be around 5 million to build from scratch. But because again of its age, but boat prices really vary depending on the condition, the size, and obviously how many people it can hold and all that type of stuff. There's actually a couple of boats for sale now, similar but different, as cheap as 500,000 I've seen. But again, it doesn't have the capacity that we offer on the Barber Lee.
Yeah. And maybe needs some more work than you had to put into old Barbara here.
Yeah, like with anything else, you get what you pay for, and you weren't necessarily looking for. I guess you knew when you saw her that this was it.
I fell in love with Barber Lee pretty much right off the bat. I just was enchanted with her history. I was enchanted by the fact that it's been family owned for 40 years now, not the boat, but the company. The company's had several boats over time. The Barber Lee replaced a much bigger boat. We had essentially the bigger boat just didn't fit in the marina as well as the Barber Lee does. So again, it's a beautiful boat to think about. It holds about 1,500 gallons of diesel. So we refill her up about once a month. The typical cruise takes about 50 gallons of gas to operate. We, again, depending on the length of the cruise, depends on how far we go, but on average, we go about 7 miles before we turn around.
I wouldn't want to have to pay that bill.
No.
1,500 gallons of diesel.
No, thank goodness you don't have to
And
do
it's
it
pretty
very
cool
often.
because the guy who drives this big diesel is he's got a long lineage of his grandfather drove a boat for this company. Is that the way it was?
So his grandfather actually owned the company prior to the previous owners. So I'm essentially, the business at St. John's River Ship was started back in 1982. It was started and then it sold to the Hopkins family. And then it was bought back by the children of the original owner. And then I bought it from the children. Those children have, one of them is retired. So it's been a long 40 years. But yes, so very much a family owned and operated business. We have one of our assistant bar managers has actually been with the company for over 30 years. So we have a long history of retaining our staff and having a lot of the family members continue with the business. Several of them, I'm very fortunate for all of their knowledge that they bring to it, because obviously, as I mentioned, driving a boat and cooking are not my fortes. So yeah, I'm really dependent on them to guide me and keep me on the straight and narrow.
And so if people want to come and enjoy this cruise, where do they go? What's the website?
Sure. So stjohnsrivershipco.com, and they can also call us and they can book online or through the phone. Groups of 20 or more get a discount. So a lot of times groups will call us directly. And again, we can work with all size groups.
Thank you for sharing your new baby with us.
Thank you.
It's been great.
All right. St. John's River Ship out on beautiful Lake Monroe.
Can't
Thank you
beat
for
it.
joining us for another episode of Florida's Fourth Estate. This isn't a bad job we have, Ginger.
This is our new job now.
And thank you for watching Florida's Fourth Estate. You can download it from wherever you listen to podcasts or watch anytime on News 6 Plus.